I have sometimes where like I feel particularly dark, and I like really want to go on Twitter and say something really kind of fucked up. You know what I mean? Just like I want to get that off. Like, you ever had that kind of moment?
My whole life I was told I was crazy. And I started thinking, like, what if it's not me? What if it's you, motherfuckers? Like, what if it's y'all, motherfuckers? And not me, you know what I mean? Maybe you need to get checked out, nigga.
Aesop rock. Is that would be pre-rock because Aesop, of course.
You mean Aesop Rock, the Def Jux artist?
I mean Aesop's fables.
Oh,
and when he turned them into songs.
You don't mean the guy from Def Jux who would rap
never
somewhat seemingly disconnected words.
Hey, stupid. Fuck you.
Whether street, club, battle, conscious or other, I find that interesting style can often outweigh the subject. So when the disc changer goes from guns to space, it is not an attempt to fake credibility for the public. But fuck it, it's Ace Rock, 6 records of gibberish, right? Trying too hard to be weird and different, right? Or could it possibly just maybe be as lessons can be summed up in a linear set of pop culture references?
Wow. You are listening to Bazooka Tooth, dental cannons, molar pistols, shit like that. This is Merce, motherfucker. This is Aesop Rock, Ace Rizzle. You know what I'm saying? Check it out. Like, living legends, Def Jux. If you don't know, now you're informed. Be better prepared for the next time this type of shit goes down. Because when it's happening and you're unaware, you look like a complete asshole.
Grand opening, holding me to face the fact I knew myself was written at the ask nobody else about labor. Fantastic, Slandered shit, put it working, searching for pertinent first, minus the murderous, the persons. We the American working population hate the fact that 8 hours a day is wasted on chasing the dream of someone that isn't us. And we may not hate our jobs, but we hate jobs in general that don't have to do with fighting our own causes. We the American working population hate the 9 to 5 day in, day out. Well, we'd rather be supporting ourselves by being paid to perfect the pastimes that we have harbored based solely on the fact that it makes us smile if it sounds dope.
Mama let her bed and stumble to the kitchen. Pour myself a cup of ambition and yawn and stretching. My life is a mess, and if I never make it home today, God bless it.
So shut the fuck up, love it like you know you want to. So don't be a little bitch. Little bitches get slapped in their mouth, and that's how it happens every time. You keep listening because maybe you'll learn something.
The dirty dishes are becoming self-aware. Even the roaches like I wouldn't raise my children here. Police shooting everything. Media's a fuck show. Religion is a scapegoat for cutthroats. Fuck no.
Open Mike Eagle just released his new album.
Oh, yeah.
And it is absolutely incredible.
But Meerkat, seeing it, I ain't trying to hear that. I'm planted in my zone, cause home is where it's weird at. Anything I want, I locate with little to no weight through a vast network of homies that work for Postmates. This is a special episode of the podcast. I have a guest who is a good friend of mine and an excellent artist who I've been a fan of for 1 million years. He goes by the name of Aesop Rock.
Seemingly disconnected words. How's he dealing with the fact that in the age of COVID-19 there are no more open mics?
He's doing a great job with it. He's moved on from those. He kept the name,
Showcase
but he
Eagle
moved
now?
on from it.
Zoom show Eagle?
Middle Eagle, yeah.
Oh, that's great. I'll have to check that out next time on the bike.
It's really, really good.
I do like his work, so that's awesome. Seemingly disconnected words.
You're so studied in the craft. So what would you say are the foundations of rap in terms of the craft of it?
I don't know. I guess it's hard to put in the words, but I mean, you're a little younger than me, but I don't know. I feel like when I was in high school and like bugging out off rap music and starting to really like kick a rhyme to my friends and stuff, I was trying to just rap was pretty young still. And so like, you know, there was a foundation that was laid in the 80s, like I guess late 70s and 80s, but people were starting to get a little bit more creative in the early 90s with how they were doing lyrics and stuff. And I think I was the right age, and I just knew what the foundation was around me. And I was just imitating East Coast rappers who had like pretty basic flow EPMD, you know, like the Tribe Called Quest type, just like, you know, there was a basis for everything that made sense in an almost like an academic. I mean, that sounds weird to say that because it's obviously a very soulful medium, but there is an academics to it, and there's like a craft that I think you can just start at point A,
Right.
you know what I mean? And even like starting to freestyle and stuff like that at the time, you know, you just keep it very like locked into a very simple flow, because it just, you know, even nowadays you see, it's not, those dudes who have the simplest flow in the world are amazing. You know what I mean? And so like that shit is like, I guess you just got to show yourself that like you can be break it down to the very foundation and it's still dope. You know what I mean?
Who were some of the earliest people you listened to that impacted you on like a style level?
I mean, you know, in the early 90s, I feel like I went to high school from 1990 to 1994. And I mean, in the late 80s, my brother played me like BDP, and obviously I had like Run DMC and that stuff, but that's not like style-wise what affected me. I think like the 90s, what people say is the golden era of rap, I guess, was when people started bugging out. But I was very like, I don't know, when I started writing rhymes and shit, I don't think I was smart enough to have a style. I was just doing what was around me, and I was just like, just writing the rap. You know, it wasn't like there wasn't types of rap or something. Right. I mean, there was, but now it's like 800 subgenres and shit. But I don't know. But I mean, I think I just loved when people ask what you like when you're this age. You just liked everything almost. You know, I mean, East Coast influence stuff. But at the time, it was what everyone liked. I mean, it was all the EPMD. It was like, you know, Gangstar and Tribe and all the native tongue shit, and I mean there was just so much fresh shit coming out, and then I mean you had bugged out shit coming out too, like when Organized came out. Eventually you're just like, oh shit, or Nas even, you're just like, damn, these dudes are, now it's getting visual, and now it's like, it's not just like we're here because we're the best. It's like you're doing something else, you know what I mean? And then, but I think once I left to go to school in 1994, I guess I went to school 94 to 98 was when I started hearing like stuff from other regions and freestyling with kids from other places. And I remember hearing like Saphir for the first time and as a New York dude and being like, that shit's crazy, whatever that dude is on.
Still to this day.
Hell yeah. That dude was like major. I went to college with Devin Horowitz, who owns Nature Sounds these days.
Oh, okay.
And he put me on to Saphir at the time. He was just like, check this shit out.
I feel like in the music I've heard from you over your career, like now it's starting to get a little bit more direct in terms of like this song is clearly about this thing and it leaves less room for interpretation. Is that true?
Yeah, maybe so. I still do it sometimes when I'm like saying something really like angry and I don't really want anyone to know like what exactly I'm referencing in my life, because it's just
too personal.
It's personal, but I have a need to get it out off my chest, so I write about it, but then I have a need to like not let you know everything about it also.
Oh my God, I so feel that too.
Yeah, so you walk that line and yeah, what was the basis of this question?
I don't remember at all. I don't remember at all. It was some interpretation.
Yeah,
I think,
Oh, because the stuff's becoming more direct.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then there was a time when I like around when I was recording None Shall Pass. I remember being like came out in 2007, I think maybe.
Yeah, I think.
And or 2009, I don't know, somewhere in there. But I remember being like, I'm sick of just talking about myself in rap. I was sick of being every rhyme is I do this, I do that. I'm just like, I don't even like myself that much, you know. And here I am just talking. And that was when I made a conscious decision to like start either referring to myself in the third person as he, so that it sounded more like a story as opposed to, even if it's just me talking about me, just changing the word to make it just sound like a third person helped me to sum up all my thoughts more in stories or little like 4-bar passages that were their own little stories within the verse or whatever. And I had done a couple story rhymes in the past, but like that was when I felt like I was like, let me change what I'm doing, because the older I get, the less I want to be bragging, because I don't really believe that shit really. You know, you do it when you're young because it's, you know, you're more confident probably and just cockier, and it's fun. It's all in fun. But the older I get, and the more you want to like attach your actual personality to to what you're doing, and realizing that it's important for you to do this way. I just couldn't do that shit, really. You know, I had to be like okay with being like, you know, not taking myself seriously in all ways, and then just being able to voice my opinion in a different way, or tell a story or a fable or something that contained the message instead of just everything being me.
Unsigned hype, frontline aeronauts flurry, zero dark 30, zero friends, minotaur fugly, stepchild, evoke lunch, jumped over plunging necklines, up beside tongue-tied hungry enzymes, devolved in a mothman, munching textiles, punisher, out past go time, back 10, fried worms chubby, brown grass both sides, canned food, man-made tools, Lanacan band-aids, mandrake root, bindle on a broomstick, pancake shoes, and a handshake groove campaign, can't lose, can't gain, smoke out moles like a force of nature, pray fortune return to his fate swiftly, maybe in the form of a nest egg, maybe in the form of a Tesla death ray, or a solid gold team with something better to celebrate than powder on a face like a flat foot on jelly day. My moral compass, all that shit spinning in the shadows of a moral magnet. Are we supporting the artist or enabling the addict? I mean, I guess it matters to me. I wish it mattered to you. How 1,000 virtues kick the same bucket like Chinatown turtles. Roving packs of elusive young.
You talked about like having like dark ideas earlier that you didn't necessarily want to like completely express, and kind of maybe couched in metaphor. You know what I mean? Like, so if you don't express them in a song, like what do you do with them? Do you know, how do you treat the darkness?
I don't know. That's the life mission, man. Yeah. That's kind of what it's been.
That's why I'm asking you. You know?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
I need help too.
Seemingly disconnected words.
You're so used to like just being scatterbrained and writing battle raps where you're just talking about whatever the fuck, and every 2 bars you can change topics. So then when I started to want to write stories a little more, or just tackle a whole song about one concept, it's tough, man. But that's like kind of what makes it fun, and what makes you feel good if you do it, you know.
Right.
Seemingly disconnected words.
Doom's another one, like who we were talking about this. He'll say something funny in the same song, and he'll say something very poignant, and then he'll say something about his friend that died, and then he'll say something about just some real life shit, and you'll be like, it's all in there, man. Yeah. And that's dope, because that's what it is.
Right.
Like when you're sitting in a room with me, even if I'm going to tell you some sad thing that happened to me today, I'll make a joke, and I'll also curse at something, and then I'll also, it's all happening at once.
Right.
And that's a real challenge to get all that into a verse.
Seemingly disconnected words.
I feel like I try and make tons of like really visual rhymes.
Right, and I see that, you know?
Yeah. Keep the concepts maybe a little less cloaked, even though I get in there with the weird metaphors. But I do think that for the most part you hear the songs and you're like, I get what this is, maybe more than ever.
Yeah, I felt like that. And I felt like it was a cool thing to do. Like, I don't know, like it just kind of goes with what you seem to be going through in life in a way that's like...
Yeah, it definitely... That's the other thing I think is like the later records I did kind of reflect more of what... I mean, they're realer. They're more... You learn how to inject yourself into it as opposed to just being this like writing rap lyrics, which is in the beginning exactly what you should be doing. But then you want to learn to find yourself a little more and find who where you sit and what your job is in music. You know, like, do you have a voice in this shit, and how do you get there? And it's just figuring out how to like tuck your life experiences and your sense of humor and your sense of your everything into the songs. You know what I mean? And that shit is not easy to gather it all in there, and and get yourself across in a way that you can like listen to the product and say, yeah, that's me, man. That's fucking me, Well,
I mean, it was amazing stuff, man, and I can't wait till people hear it so you can stop being so anxious about it.
I know, that's my job.
You get showered with all this praise. You feel like...
Nah, man, I don't know. You don't know. You think it could all be done tomorrow with this shit,
Absolutely.
Like nobody... I mean, this is rap music, man. People come and go.
For sure.
And like, both of us have been fucking lucky, man.
Yeah, believe me.
All this shit is just like the fact that anyone is even checking still is amazing. And
Do you see I'm diversifying while we're talking?
yeah. That's what I need to be doing.
Most illness, toast the mutineer of the year. I'm a bum. My motherfucking beard has a beard.
What's next for you, like musically?
Well, I got a solo record that I'm pretty deep into. Probably closer to finished than started. Got a bunch of demos, and you may or may not have heard them.
I don't know, did I?
I got played his shit. I got a bunch of shit.
Open Mike Eagle just released his new album.
Oh, yeah.
And it is absolutely incredible.
I do like his work. Seemingly disconnected words.
Yeah, no, I love it. And I what I would say about it that really struck me as impactful, and we talked about song meanings, and we just talked about your relationship with family. I feel like that's a lot in it. You know what I mean? I feel like there's a lot more like human in. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
it probably is.
Yeah,
You're not the first to say that. I mean, a few people have heard what I've been doing, and a couple people are like, "Whoa, it's like super personal," but you never know. You feel like you hear that all the time, but more than one person say it, and you're like, "Oh, I guess I did," because you can't tell what you're going through until someone says, "Hey, all these sound like this to me."
Same thing with the music I was playing you yesterday. You
Yeah,
know what
yeah,
I mean? Like,
yeah.
oh, these are all like really sad songs over these happy beats. I'm like,
yeah.
oh, you're right, it is.
yeah. And you don't know you're doing it. You're just going, and so I've just been going, and I always work on solo shit, even when I'm working with Rob or with any of these other projects. I always like work on my shit, and so I'm getting close. I don't have a name for an album or anything yet, but it's getting there.
Yeah, and it's funny though, because it's interesting that somebody else called it personal. Like, I wouldn't have called it personal, because to me, like, everything you've ever done has been personal. Like, some of it like extremely personal, but like this, I would call it more human because it's personal, but it's also a little bit more accessible because it's like laying kind of the themes out like kind of openly and saying like, this is what I was working through. It's this relationship or that, you know what I mean? Or moving here, or, it's just like a more